morning. Good morning from London. No. I'm on the way to a very special place here. Not London this time, but not a grand conference hall, but a city that feels softer, quieter, and deeply historic. A city that holds stories in this stone. Okay, so a city that feels softer, holds stories, and I'm heading to Bath. Here I am in Bath. Bath is not just a city, it feels like a piece of literature itself. And you walk through it and everything slows down. The buildings are warm-toned, made from Bath stone, glowing slightly under the light. The streets are curved, elegant, almost like sentences written in an old novel. And everywhere you go, you feel something very rare in modern cities. A sense of continuity. Bath has existed for nearly 2,000 years. Very cold here. So 1,000 years. From the Roman era to Georgian elegance to today's global tourism. And yet it has not lost its soul. And at the heart of Bath lies the famous Roman bath. This city was built around water, not ordinary water, but natural hot springs. So it is famous for its hot springs. For the Romans, this was not just about the body, it was about healing, about restoration, about reconnecting with something deeper. And interestingly, that connects very naturally to what we've been talking about in our journalist these past few days. Because in many ways, modern people are also looking for healing. But not just the physical healing, emotional healing, psychological healing, spiritual healing. Over the past 3 days, we've been part of something very meaningful. We participated in the London Book Fair for 3 days. This is one of the most important global platforms for publishing and cultural exchange. And what we are doing there is not just selling books. We are participating in much larger conversation. How culture travels and how literature crosses borders. How wisdom moves between civilizations. We also had a round table at Royal Overseas League. That space brought together people from very different backgrounds. Writers, scholars, artists, humanitarian leaders. And what role does love, literature, and human understanding play in today's world? And now Bath. Today we are coming to Bath for something equally meaningful. Because this is not just a visit, this is the continuation of dialogue. Last year we were already here at the University of Bath. And today we return again. matters because returning meaning. Hi, Kevin. I am here now in the United States, the city of Bath. Not London, but Bath. We just come from. So speaking of last year, we were already here at the University of Bath, and today we return again. That matters because returning means a relationship has been formed, a conversation has continued, a bridge has begun to stabilize. So the University of Bath is not just any university. It is globally recognized, especially in translation, interpretation, language studies. In fact, it is often considered one of the top institutions in the world for training interpreters, translators, cross-cultural communicators. And speaking of this, my dream was to become a top-class interpreter when I was young. So, and this is deeply symbolic because what we are doing is also a form of translation, not just language, but meaning. So when we talk about bringing Chinese culture to the world, we are not just translating words. We are translating emotions, ways of thinking, ways of seeing life, ways of understanding suffering, love, and existence. And this is much harder than linguistic translation because words can be translated, but experience must be transmitted. And this brings me to something very important. Chinese wisdom is often not explicit. It is what we call hidden culture. It does not shout. It does not declare itself loudly. It is embedded in literature, in stories, in daily lives, in silence. And because it is hidden, many people in the world do not see it. Even many Chinese people do not fully recognize it. This is why literature becomes so important, because literature is not just storytelling, it is a carrier, a vessel, a bridge. Especially today, in a world full of fast information, short attention spans, emotional fragmentation, people are actually more lost than ever. And what they need is not more information. They need meaning. And among all themes, there is one that is universal, one that crosses all cultures, one that requires no translation. That is love, not just romantic love, but compassion, connection, understanding, presence. Love is the most accessible doorway into deeper awareness. And this connects to something we often misunderstand. People think illness is what hurts them. But often, what hurts people most is not illness itself. It is fear. Fear is an emotion, and fear amplifies everything. It magnifies pain, it weakens inner strength, it isolates people. Eastern wisdom has always had ways to deal with it. And simple but profound methods: breathing, stillness, awareness, observing emotion without becoming it. But again, these are not widely known because they are not aggressively promoted. They exist quietly. So this is why what we are doing matters, because we are not just exporting books, we are opening channels, creating encounters, allowing different civilizations to meet. And this is especially important today because the world is not lacking technology, the world is lacking understanding. If you think about our journey itself is symbolic. From London, global, fast, powerful, to Bath, quiet, reflective, historical, it mirrors something internal, from noise to stillness. And today we will have a dialogue at the University of Bath. Actually, we already did the dialogue yesterday at the University of Bath with students, scholars, and thinkers. But this is not the end. This is only the beginning. Because cultural exchange is not an event, it is a process. So, as I travel to Bath today, I am not just going to a city, I am entering a space where history, healing, language, and human understanding intersect. And perhaps this is what literature has always tried to do, to connect one heart to another, across time, across culture, across the world. So, from London to Bath, we have a fantastic talk there at the University of Bath, and today we are invited to have a dialogue at the University of Bristol, and then we will also have a dialogue and talk at the University of London, and the final stop is Oxford University. So this is the actually Jane Austen also lived here in the Bath. Jane Austen. Hi Ashley, hello, welcome. Here we are in the UK, in the city of Bath. And we are bringing Xuemo's works to the world. Not just only the UK, but the whole world. Because in this chaotic world and war happens, the literature seems much more important than before. Because I think literature works which can illuminate people's inner light. It's a carrier. The literature works is like carrier of the humanistic care to the world. So we are bringing Xuemo's works to the world. Hope Xuemo's works can illuminate more people's inner light, and Xuemo has written 80 titles with over 200 editions and have been translated into 28 languages. Xuemo is one of the most prolific and inspiring authors from Western China, and there are different forms of his works. And the novels, the spiritual essays, and the poems, even the long epic poem. So please subscribe our channel. This is a place for growth, especially for inner growth. Hope you can feel a sense of peace, calmness, coolness in this little corner of the internet. Hello, welcome. So, please subscribe our channel. This is a place for inner growth. Okay, this is for my live session today. This period.